Here are my top 10 fragrances of all time. So guys, at this particular moment, especially being able to be at a point where I've rebuilt the collection and I have a good amount, I have well over 150 to 200 bottles in my collection. These are 10 fragrances that I'll always recommend. These are 10 of my top comment pulling fragrances and ones that I'll always recommend, all right? Number one is going to be a fragrance from the brand Mancera. This one here really, as far as the Mancera line, first off, I love Mancera fragrances for their affordability for a niche fragrance brand. And this one is always one that is really garnering attention, and it's always going to be a comment puller for me. And this fragrance here is Mancera's Red Tobacco, all right? You're gonna get tobacco, vanilla, saffron, and oud to some of the main notes. This one is really bold and spicy, but it's got a sweet, warm nature to it as well. Really versatile. And honestly, guys, this one to me, this is not gonna be a fragrance that you are gonna have to overspray. Really, truly, I love this because of the loudness, the projection. 3 sprays max, really 2 sprays is all you need, and you'll be able to be the best smelling person in the room. People are gonna smell you when you walk in. So in terms of loudness, in terms of a fragrance where a little goes a long way, this is definitely one for you to get your hands on. The only thing with this one is that they've dropped a new intense version, which I just got my hands on. We'll have a first impression, so this might get eclipsed from my collection if the new one is just as good as this one. All right, great selection for you. Next fragrance we have on the list is going to be a fragrance from the brand Viktor & Rolf, and this one was one, you know, as far back as when I started collecting. This one still has stayed in my top 10 through the course of time, through all the various fragrances I've had and added. The only thing that sucks about this one here is that I don't get to wear it as much as I want to because I live in a warm weather city, and this is definitely a winter fragrance. But the fragrance we're talking about, Viktor & Rolf Spicebomb Extreme. You're gonna get tobacco, vanilla, black pepper, and cumin, and some of the main notes in this one. This one is gonna be warm, spicy, sweet, especially. It smells almost like Christmas / Halloween. Really kind of is some of the main notes and kind of the vibe you're gonna be getting with this one. Again, another loud fragrance, really with the longevity too. This one's gonna be one you're gonna have to shower to get it off, right? Definitely one of the most goated cold weather winter fragrances that you can get your hands on. Unfortunately, I live in a warm weather city. I live in Texas, where I don't get to pull this one out, but when and every chance I get to, this one is definitely out in the rotation, always pulling me compliments. Again, a little goes a long way. Not the loud, it's loud with a subtleness to it. Like, it's loud from the standpoint, it'll fill up a room, but it won't overpower and it won't over intoxicate people. Definitely people will be able to smell you, and this one will last you all day. You can spray it in the beginning of the day, you'll smell it all day long. One of the best longevity-based fragrances and scent quality, scent sillage, scent profiles that you can get your hands on, guys. Great selection. Number 3 on the list is going to be a fragrance from the brand of Rasasi. Now, I haven't had this one in my collection for very long, but in the time that I've had it, this one has already hit my top 10. Definitely, it's one of, if not my favorite Hawas fragrance. And this one, I love it. And this one is a great versatile spring, fall. I would say all season, all occasion. It kind of falls in that category for me because I can imagine it being worn at any season, at any time, really in any occasion. But this fragrance here is going to be Rasasi Hawas Fire. So this one is my second bottle of it. It already blew through one bottle when it first got released. First off, for the affordability, right? Under $50, but really great quality, really great scent profile and sillage to it. You're going to get grapefruit, apple, cedar wood, and amber, as well as some of the main notes in this one. So they took the original Hawas DNA and they made it less citrusy tart, and they made it a little bit warmer, a little bit spicier, a little bit more on the woods, and really truly to me, it's almost more in their red fruits as well. I really love this one. Women have loved this one every time I've worn it. It's clean, it's fresh, but it also has that aromaticity. It also has that fruity nature to it, to where it has a nice level of character. And this luxurious smelling without the luxury price tag. You really can't beat that with this one. All right, great selection for you. Another new addition to the fragrance collection. Now, before I got my hands on this one, we probably would have had something else, another fragrance that was like this one, but definitely in the time that I've had this one, I've loved it, and especially the setting, the scene. I get to wear this a whole lot. Every time I've worn it, I've gotten compliments on it. I've been asked, what are you wearing? So the fragrance that we're talking about right here is from the brand Joe Milano Game of Spades, and this is Game of Spades Full House. Now, Game of Spades Full House 1, I just got this fragrance maybe 3 weeks ago. It was, Joe Milano is already a brand that I really just recently got introduced through TikTok. So I already have well over 8 fragrances from the line. I've loved every single fragrance that I've gotten from them. So as far as brand, I really love what they do and their work. But this one here is a fragrance that is inspired by Louis Vuitton's imagination, but it's only $70 instead of $400. So when you talk about price tag, you really can't beat that. And then the scent with this one, I really love the clean, luxurious nature, fresh out the shower vibe, which I've really kind of been understanding and discovering that women love those simplistic fragrances. Some of the main notes we're going to be getting, you're going to get that citrusy, musk, ambroxan, and some woods as far as the main notes. And this one really truly is, it's not as Middle Eastern spicy as some of the other Louis Vuitton Imagination dupes. You know, when I think of another dupe that I have in my collection, like Aqua Dubai by Harmain, right, that one I can tell is a little bit more spicy, so people don't rate that one as high. This one here though smooths it out, still keeps that one-to-one DNA from Louis Vuitton Imagination, but makes it more affordable, really improves the longevity as well. So I really enjoyed this fragrance. The masses have enjoyed this fragrance, women have enjoyed this fragrance. This is definitely one for you guys to get your hands on. All right, we're going back to back with 2 niche fragrances in a row, but again, 2 of the ones that I really put my stamp of approval on. And you know, it's kind of fitting that these are the 2 that make it into the list, because when I look at my current collection, a lot of the Middle Eastern affordables are what I've kind of added to the collection to start off in this restarting my collection and restarting the journey. And so this is probably one of the top niche fragrances that I have in my collection. I'm almost out of it, which is the only thing I'm mad about, so I'm probably gonna have to get a new bottle. And there's another one in the line that I haven't got my hands on yet, but I've heard and I've gotten a whiff of it. This is probably gonna be eclipsed soon, but for now, the fragrance we're talking about right here is Parfum de Marly. This is Layton exclusive. Apple, vanilla, cardamom, and lavender are some of the main notes, guys. This is as luxury as a fresh and clean niche fragrance as you can get. This is really one of the most goated scent DNAs out there on the market, and most of the clone dupes, I can honestly say, really haven't been able to mask and really kind of mirror this one. This is probably the one where I say this is one of the few niche fragrances where I say get the original over a lot of the dupes out there. Maybe I'll be proved wrong in the next year. You know, we still have some time in the next few months. I'm still adding things to the collection, but as far as the scent quality and the DNA, you really can't replicate what this one brings to the table as far as the richness that I get with this Layton exclusive. I love this fragrance. Women love this fragrance. Again, little goes a long way, and every time I wear it, it's always pulling me mad compliments. Only thing I'm mad about is I didn't get the big bottle at the time. But at the end of the day, when you talk about compliment pulling magnet, compliment pulling beast mode fragrance, guys, you're always gonna love this. You're always gonna need this. Great all season, all occasion. But I mean, obviously, because of its more rich nature, you probably want to save this for your nights out, you know, your more formal settings. But you can wear this as your daily driver if you want to, especially if you're in a higher class, more luxurious setting. If you want a luxury smelling fragrance for your daily driver, this would be one to get your hands on, guys. Great selection, great option, great niche gift as well for you guys to get your hands on. All right, going with another niche fragrance, and this is probably the most complimented niche fragrance in my collection at this time, even above Layton exclusive, or if not more complimented, it's a dead tie. It's very close. But this fragrance is from the brand Bond Number 9. This one here we're going to be talking about is Bond Number 9 Lafayette Street. So the only thing with Lafayette Street is that they have dropped some dupes in the recent years. I know Bahar Onyx I have, that's about 85 to 90% Lafayette Street, and then I got my hands on Game of Spades Wildcard. That's another dupe. So they have dropped some dupes, which is where you may not have to go with this one. But in terms of why I love this one, again, when you talk about scent DNA and when you talk about the compliment pulling factor that you get with Lafayette Street, you really can't beat it. You really can't mask it. You're getting apple, vanilla, tonka bean, and ambroxan. So really loud, fresh, versatile fragrance that you're going to be getting with some vanilla qualities and a really aromatic touch and aromatic nature to it. This, guys, don't have to overspray this one, and this one is probably one of the more simple yet effective niche fragrances that you guys can get your hands on. And you don't have to have too many notes, really. You don't have to overcomplicate the game. But sometimes when you have what is worked, what is tried and tested, that's all you need, guys. The only thing I need is probably to refill and get a new bottle of it. But you know, Bond Number 9 is one of those. It's gonna cost you a nice penny. It's gonna cost you a nice penny, but this one definitely is worth the price. If you're thinking about getting into niche fragrances, definitely get your hands on this one. Give this one a try. You won't be disappointed. Getting out of the niche fragrances, we're going back into the designer realm. And when I think about this next fragrance, definitely one that I'm so glad I went and I pulled the money to get the biggest bottle of it I can. I still blew through it, so I'm gonna have to get a new one. And they've dropped new releases, new flankers, but I think to me, this one, when I talk about one I'm always gonna be blind pulling, it goes with this one. For me, Saint Laurent, this one here, we're going with Y Le Parfum. Y Le Parfum, I mean, obviously they dropped new releases. They dropped the EDP Intense. They took the original Y EDP DNA, toned it down, add some lavender and some aldehydes, and made it a little bit sweeter, and they toned down the citrusy tartness that I always talk about with the original Y EDP. So to me, this is the perfect versatile all day, all setting, all occasion. You can wear it fall, spring, summer, winter even, right? All season, all occasion fragrance. Nice daily driver, nice quality, nice longevity, nice CRs, nice projection. All the things you want in a great fragrance. This one pulls it off, and for a really kind of affordable designer price. Even if you get it off a discounter, you really won't be mad at pulling the trigger to get your hands on this one, guys. Great selection for you. All right, we got the most affordable fragrance in the collection, the most affordable fragrance on the list, but this one to me gets just as many compliments as any other fragrance that I've mentioned today. And people, the women have loved this fragrance. It's a pleasant surprise how many compliments I've pulled with this one, which is why I'm about to be on my third bottle of it. But nonetheless, guys, this is from the brand of Afnan. This next fragrance is Afnan Supremacy in Heaven. So Supremacy in Heaven, I began battling it, and up until I started battling it with maybe 4 months ago, and finally it launched last weekend for the first time, which that will be coming soon. So make sure that you guys are subscribed and you guys are following to make sure that you guys are getting notified anytime I drop any new fragrance content. We're battling. We're also dropping you guys choice, dropping you guys first impressions, all things fragrances. But nonetheless, when we talk about Supremacy in Heaven, if you love a fragrance like Creed Silver Mountain Water, but you don't want to pay $450 plus for Creed Silver Mountain Water, get your hands on this one. Direct replica to it, and anything, this one's a little smoother. See, Creed Silver Mountain Water, in my opinion, and from what I've gathered, my dad has it one. We've gotten that from my dad, so I've smelt it numerous times, right? The Silver Mountain Water doesn't have the best longevity, especially for a niche fragrance that you're paying $400 for. This one has good longevity. It's not great, but good. I'd say 6 to 8 hours on your skin, right? And to me, that one is smoother than even Silver Mountain Water. Another fragrance that could have been another cheapie, but is not as good to me, is Club de Nuit Sillage. Now, Sillage, the problem with that one is it's a little too musky, right? So when you spray on Sillage, there's an inkiness that you get where you have to kind of get past that. Once you get past that, it's really good. This one to me adds that fresh out the shower aromatic quality. Black currant mixed with that bergamot, that mandarin orange, and that green tea, those notes combined, and then you get that musky undertone. The musk is really done well and masked well with all the various other notes that really give this a really nice, fresh and invigorating, really vibrant quality to it. I love wearing this, especially on days when it's sunny, when it's hot, humid. This gets through the humidity really well. And even on days when it's raining, this is always going to be a blind pool, blind smell, one that won't ever offend anyone. Great scent quality, great luxurious feel, $400 fragrance quality, but you're only paying $25 for it, so you really can't beat the price, guys. Great selection, great choice. Ladies, get this for your man as well. He'll love it, and you won't cost you an arm and a leg. This would be a great gift, especially for somebody who's getting into fragrances, but you know that they don't care too much for spending too much money on it. Great selection. All right, last two fragrances. We're going back to back with the same brand, but these are two of my favorites ever, and I will never stop mentioning these last two fragrances. So they're both from the brand Jean-Paul Gaultier. I'm gonna mention the first one because the first one that I'm gonna be talking about is really kind of the fragrance that got me into the whole rabbit hole of becoming a reviewer and a collector and starting to make fragrance content. This is the fragrance when I started wearing it. I used to wear it every day before I had this big old collection behind me, right? It was mainly about 5 of the fragrances. Then this one, started wearing this one, and I actually didn't like it a whole lot, but let me talk about what we're talking about. This is Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Le Parfum. All right, so Le Parfum, you know, when I first got it, I remember the first few times I sprayed it and wore it out, I was like, this one's a little soft. Like, I didn't really feel like I smelled it a whole lot, so I thought it was a dud, honestly, after especially having a fragrance like Ultra Male, which I had first. So I was like, okay, this is a dud, I probably won't wear it. And then I remember I wore it out in public. I wore it to the gym a couple times even, and literally I was wearing it and I walk in, and then like you have people like turning and poking me on the shoulder like, hey, well, what fragrance is that you're wearing? Like, that smell is so good. And the rest is history with this fragrance. I love it, 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 and I love it again. And this is one fragrance that'll always be on my top 10 list or top 5 lists. This is on my fragrance Mount Rushmore, not just for the scent, but also for the sentimental value that it brings. You're getting cardamom, iris, you're getting lavender, you're getting vanilla oriental notes, and some woodsiness in this one. So pretty simple note breakdown, but simple yet effective. Great longevity, and it's not the loudest fragrance, but it's really like a nice whisper. When you walk by, it's that whiff that people get as you walk by that you won't leave their mind. I promise you, fellas. You wear this out to a nice date night, she'll remember who you are. One of these sexiest fragrances in my collection, guys. One that I'm always recommending, one that I'm always wearing, always pulling, even over a lot of the other more expensive ones in my collection. This is really my road dog. This is the one that I'm always gonna have. as part of my collection, part of my aesthetic, guys. Great selection. I can't mention this one enough. All right, final fragrance of the day. All right, we're gonna stick with the brand Jean Paul Gaultier, and only because to me, this took the Le Male DNA, they took the Le Male Parfum DNA, and to me they really improved it. And a lot of these designer fragrances, right, have become a little redundant with some of the things that they've done. This to me is a really unique spin on what they've done with the Le Male DNA. So the last fragrance we're gonna be talking about, guys, is Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir. So one, Le Male Elixir, they took the original Le Male DNA, they added some benzo, and they added the note honey, and they added some tonka bean to give it an even more sweeter, spicier, a little bit more aromatic touch to it, a little bit more gourmand smelling fragrance. And this one's a little bit louder, but nonetheless, guys, I love this one. I love both of these, and it's always tough when people ask me which one do I like more. It's like I refuse to answer that question most of the time, but nonetheless, great scent DNA, great quality. Truth be told, I would say, and anytime I always talk about the two of these, I always say get them both and wear them for different occasions. Wear one for date night, wear one out to the club. You can layer the two of these too, because they are that different, but they do have a synergy to them that if you can wear the both of these, then one, you've created a hell of a combo already there. So if you've made it this far, you've already been put on game on a nice layering combo for you. But when we talk about Le Male Elixir, again, the new trend amongst most designers is this new elixir trend, where a lot of these designers are dropping their elixir fragrance. This to me is probably one of my favorite fragrances that have been dropped. Rasasi dropped the Hawas elixir that is supposed to be a mirror to this. They also have Rayhan's elixir, but still, both of those, while I do enjoy both of those, there's no fragrance really that really kind of competes with Le Male Elixir. You can't beat the originals with these. You know, even though I have those other ones, I still like coming back to my Le Male Elixir, guys. So nonetheless, great fragrances, great aesthetic. Really can't beat it. You really can't mask it. If you get your hands on these two, guys, you're ahead of the game. If you get your hands on all the 10 of these fragrances, these are all the 10 that you need. If you get these, I mean, you are ahead of the game. You've built a really good collection, and you don't have to be a collector like I am. But if you're just starting out, if you start off with these 10 fragrances, you're ahead of the game. Alright, guys, there you go. My top 10 fragrances of all time, guys. I just reached 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so if I haven't said it, I thank you guys all for supporting the journey, especially. And if you guys have been here from the beginning, I appreciate you. If you found these videos helpful, make sure you hit the subscribe and the follow button so you get notified anytime I drop any fragrance content. We got a whole lot more fragrances coming at you guys. New hauls, new first impressions, new battles, new lists. So stay tuned, stay tapped in, join the memberships tab. You can also drop super in the chat anytime I go live, anytime you guys see the chance and you want to drop something in the chat to help support the business and help support the channel, please do so. I appreciate all of you guys' support. Let me know what other fragrances, what is your top 10, what are fragrances you guys haven't seen me mention on the channel that you guys want. I'll get them done for you as always. You guys have a good day. We'll catch you on the next one. Much love.